Hello, Internet. It's day 116 of 365. Today is a day in the life of a child of God. It's Sunday. I had finished up my birthday week. I paid for AMC stubs to watch a movie and a lot of movies. And the irony is, so the movie I saw was Project Hail Mary. I'm just going to say it. No one's going to watch it. The movie's been out long enough. The algorithm is not going to get me. Um, but I really loved it. I will definitely say this movie, unlike The Martian, which I did like, um, okay, so I just literally my brain was like, why? I like this better than The Martian, and I know why. Um, in The Martian, Matt Damon plays a scientist. It has this similar, smart alecky, hey guys, this is science. Science is cool energy to it. But I think, yeah, with the same, since they're by themselves, they're talking to the camera, talking to us. Um, yeah, one of the reasons I think I prefer this one, not only because there is a, like, Rocky does. Um, but I think what I do appreciate about this one is these movies are introvert movies. If I was lost in space, what would I be? Who would I be like? And then, okay, on the level, I think if it was between um, Mark Watney and Ryland Grace, I'm more Ryland Grace than Mark Watney. I think it's the neuroses and yeah. But more than that, oh man, I could write an essay of why I like it. Anyway, so I saw this, and this is the first movie I saw of the year, and it was on my birthday, and it was just perfect movie to watch. And there's not a lot of good movies out now. Not that there aren't any. There's actually some movies I do want to see, but there was such a high standard, I guess. It was I didn't really want to watch another movie because it was sort of if you've ever watched something that kind of aligns with where God is telling you to go, that it's sort of what other movie can you watch? But then I remembered the thing about AMC stubs is you can watch the same movie in the theaters. And I was like, ooh, let me watch it again. So I may watch it again. But then this week there was just a lot of cool stuff that happened. And if I were to wrap up my week, the coolest thing that happened today, so many cool things happened, but the reason I call it a day in the life of a child of God is that's the main thing that I think God's been really reminding me. I am his child. I am a child of God. Jesus dying on the cross, he did it all for me, and by doing that and by believing him, I am his child. And it's such I guess an innocent Sunday school concept that it's so easy to forget. But why was I reminded of it today? And it's not only because I have the sticker on my phone to remind me, but okay, so embarrassing story time. um, I serve with my children's, our church's children ministry, and our pastor, she really takes care of us. Every week on our birthday week, the week we serve, she's very attentive to get us all a birthday. And even if on the day of or the belated, she sends us a text message and we are all oh, because she remembers people's birthday. In terms of our ministry this week, it was really what I felt. This is not what was meant at all, but what I felt was it's okay. Like, I can celebrate on my own, but um, I shouldn't expect people to celebrate me or recognize me or see me, and that's fine. I didn't, it's sort of a thing of like, I'm very secure with who I am right now that I don't necessarily need celebration to validate my worth. On a level, it's a good thing. It's a very peaceful thing. But on another level, it's like a sense of a little bit of a wall. Because if you just sort of say it's fine, no one needs to celebrate me, there's a sense of like protection. What do I mean by that? So, for another small group church group, they got me a cake, which I didn't expect. But when they were cutting the cake, I think it's because I'm Korean, I started handing it out, and I wanted to get myself a piece, like a sizable piece, because it's like, it's my birthday, I want a big cake. But then somehow, because there's another girl handing out the cakes, big cake slices, and somehow this big piece that I wanted to take, she hands to someone else and then gives me a tiny piece. And at that moment, I had this thought of like, do I say something? This is, it's like the cake was bought for my birthday. And yeah, if I'm really generous, I should make sure there's enough cake to go around. And the cake, like, slices were cut horribly, not even in any sense of it. But like, at no point did anyone say, "Anne, it's your birthday. Pick your piece, or please get the biggest piece." It was sort of like, "Oh, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want the big piece." And then it felt really stupid for me to be like, "Can I have it?" Like, I should have been able to say that. And then I was like, you know what? No, just take the small piece. The girl who did it, I'm pretty sure she didn't mean anything. We were just not that close. And she gave it and they ate it. Other girls ate it. Like, and doing the things that girls do, which I kind of hate, but I do it myself, is oh, I can't eat it. This is too much. And yet you eat it. And then so at that moment, I know this is very neurotic, but I know I'm not the only woman who does this. It was like, especially since I'm bigger, I'm like, do I complain about a small piece? Like, it was given to me and I should have just accepted it. And then maybe if had sat down and I wasn't walking around and being helpful, then maybe I would have gotten the bigger piece if I was selfish about it. But the fact that no one in that moment, in that group of women, said, "Oh man, Anne, this was for you." No one took a picture or a video, and it was just one of those things of like, I didn't know what to do because I was being celebrated, but the celebration felt so hollow. And, at the end of the day, it didn't make a big difference because I'm like, I justify it by saying I had a small piece of cake, now I can have an ice cream, which I wanted too. And I was going to eat a lot of cake, so I was like, don't complain about it. But that moment sat with me. And the reason I share this is because I think this is just a truth of like Christianity. That girl didn't do anything wrong. I should have said something. It like bothered me, but it wasn't like that bad, and I just didn't know how to get out of it. You know when you like back yourself into a corner and you're like, "Oh, what do I say? Do I say anything?" And then, so I guess that story context is very important because on this Sunday, because it was a big Sunday at our church, I genuinely didn't expect it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna start to get really teary now again. Like, and I didn't hold it against her. I just knew because, with my birthday being on a Tuesday, and if there's sort of the obligatory Sunday, well-meaning Christian celebration, it would have happened last week, because this week there's a lot. And when there's a lot and you're forgotten, it's like, you're forgotten. It's fine, you know? But I didn't realize how much that tiny moment had kind of hurt. So when when they remembered, and then like when she remembered, and she like, and it caught me off guard, and it was just one of those moments of like, all right, even when God is being celebrated, even when our church, and like we have such a bigger thing happening and people are busy, it doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be loved. It doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be celebrated or appreciated. And I think that moment, I was just so touched and blessed and honored. And here's also where I'm like, where does the child of God thing tie in? We were reading a passage, which was John 21, where Jesus, after resurrection, comes back, and it's the thing where they're fishing and they're kind of depressed, and then, where Peter and Jesus have the 3 times, do you love me, do you love me, do you love me? And this is a common passage you read as a Christian. But this time, what caught me was when Jesus was calling out to as they were fishing. He says, "Children, did you catch any fish?" Now, in the English translation, children sounds like, hey kids, or, but the Greek is like, hey guys. It's a term of familiarity. It's a term um, of like a warmth. Yeah. But specifically in English, and I was like, hey children, the word children, like, that parental love, that care, like, I was mulling over it, and then, thinking about, like, what does it mean to be loved by God? Being a child of God, being loved by God means that even though He has commanded us to love our neighbors, and when we don't, or when we fail constantly as people to love, to show love, He still loves us, and He reminds us that He loves us through moments like today, where yeah, and yeah, when you're like me, and I just grew up way too fast, had to be an adult way too fast, and even now as I'm getting older and I'm continuing to be adult, it's easy to forget that we are first and foremost children. And when you're a child, you are protected, you are guided, you are loved. And we never lose that, especially as Christians, we never lose that. And I was reminded of that today. So, yeah. I could have gone to see Project Hail Mary tonight again. And I was going to. I kind of really wanted to, because it's like, on a film lover's perspective, but also like having studied film, and I wanted to see it again. So I'm gonna watch it tomorrow night. But because there's also this message, a very clear Christian message, that I'm gonna write it down, but I just was like, God is so good. He loves, He cares, and even if I'm never gonna be able to love me the way, or love others the way He's loved me, that's okay. But I think in response, I'm going to try to do the best I can. And even that's okay. God hears your hurts. God hears your sorrows. God hears all prayers. And man, was I embarrassed. I was like, it was just embarrassing. Yeah, God loves me. Jesus loves me. And in kind, well, he's not asking me to do anything. What I can and I ought to try to do is love others. Anyway, this is almost the end of my birthday month. And I'm just thankful. I'm thankful to be a child of God. Alright, internet. I could go on, but this is already I'm hitting that 17 minute mark soon, so good night. Hope you had a good Sunday. Have a great week.